credits say, it's time again for Skippy Lowe Looks at Hollywood. It's with pleasure we today introduce you to Margaret Avery, the Oscar-nominated actress for her role as Shug in The Color Purple. Also with us is David Carradine, star of Americana, Bound for Glory, and the cult favorite Kung Fu. Rounding out our guest list is the youngest addition to the Carradine acting clan. She is David's daughter, Kansas Carradine. And now, here's your man of the half hour, Skippy Lowe.
David Carradine, what is that around your neck? Is that
I just put
from
on
Americana, the movie you did?
No. You know, I can't even remember where I got this from. But it's just sort of pretty, and I wear it. It's supposed to have some kind of significance or power or something
And feeling.
like that.
I love it. I think it's
you were
great.
going to say your daughter made it.
I love it. I think it's great. Hi, Margaret Avery.
Well, hello, Skippy.
Well, you jumped right in. Okay, Avery, how are you, darling? You look lovely, all in red. You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you. It's leftover from the festive feelings.
Well, the Academy Awards are coming again. My God, do you have any feeling? Last year you were shaking this time. Nominated for the Oscar?
Sweetheart, it was 2 years ago.
Well, I know that.
How the time
But
passed.
really?
It goes.
Was it? David, Kung Fu. I mean,
Kung Fu to you, too.
I know, but Kung Fu, I mean, you know, those things, I mean, does it always, people just constantly just remember David Carradine Kung Fu? I mean, you've done hundreds and hundreds of movies.
Well, actually, 39, I think.
39?
Maybe
Come
40.
on, David.
Yeah. No, actually, certainly there's a lot of Kung Fu stuff, but there's a whole bunch of people that are really more interested in the other stuff.
Right. Tell me, what is new and exciting in David Carradine's life right now? Let's get right there.
Oh, well,
You just...
God, the list is endless. Probably the hottest thing that just happened was I made a movie in Mexico called Open Fire, which is Kansas Carradine's debut. That's my
This is next to me. Hi,
youngest
Kansas.
kid.
How are you?
Good.
Isn't she adorable? How old is Kansas?
I'm 9.
9? You are 9. You're the lovely little lady. Last time I had David on the show was dancing in that movie called...
No, that's Kalista.
Kalisa?
That's my
But
oldest.
I was dancing in it.
No, she was
Oh, that's
dancing
right.
in it.
You
David.
were dancing in it. Yeah.
Of course you were, weren't you? What was the name of the film?
Monahari.
Mata Hari. You did all those wonderful little dances? Who taught you all that?
I don't remember.
You don't?
I don't remember.
How old were you
anything
then?
At all.
You were 6?
maybe
4, maybe.
4?
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
She was wonderful. You don't remember her doing that film?
Yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah.
And I also rode
Had
in
a
a
glitch.
wagon.
You what?
I rode in a wagon.
In a wagon? Tell me, David, I must know right away. The movie you're doing with your daughter right now. Tell me about it.
Well, I'm the governor of Wyoming, and I'm visiting South America to visit my daughter, who's on a bus tour of South America. And while I'm there, she's kidnapped by a band of terrorists, along with all the other kids in the bus. And I'm wounded in the thing, and then I crawl out of bed and go save her.
How's your dad?
He's great.
Is he working at all? He's doing
Yeah, he's doing a couple of movies a year and a certain number of plays and a lot of voiceovers. He's recording the Bible these days.
He is?
Yeah.
How nice.
Isn't it?
Carradine, I tell you, he has the arthritis, and how is that doing?
It's about the same.
Is it?
Hasn't got any worse, I don't
He's
think.
such a nice guy, and such a great actor. All the Carradines, aren't they, Mark?
Yes, they're wonderful.
I mean, how about Keith? What's Keith doing right now?
Keith just came back from, well, right now he's doing a movie in Savannah, Georgia. It's a movie for television. And he told me the subject matter of it, but it would be hard for me
I
to
must
recall it
congratulate
now.
you. Last time I saw you, you weren't married. You got married to your manager
That's
who handles
right,
you?
yeah.
Gail Jensen.
Everybody's
Just-
getting married.
Are you married?
No.
There's no man in your life?
No, not anything.
Really?
I mean, anything.
A beautiful lady.
Just my daughter and a little dog.
So you were
And,
married?
oh, and now we have a hamster.
So you were married, Margaret?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I've been divorced now about maybe 7 years.
Margaret Avery, I mean, moving from Oklahoma, child, to San Diego, what happened to Margaret Avery? Tell me. I mean, you
Grew
went
up in a beautiful city, you know, San Diego. I mean, you've been there. It's very
Right.
clean and Wonderful. And migrated to Northern California, went to college at University of California, Berkeley, and then graduated from San Francisco State, taught a couple of years.
Teacher.
First,
San Francisco
second
State.
grade, you did?
Yeah, in a different millennium than you went there, I'm sure. But
So you taught school?
Taught a couple of years and then became really inspired to go into acting.
But you know what I like? How she got her Screen Actors Guild card, David. I loved it. I love when I found out.
Are you going to
Listen
tell me
this.
that?
Yes, tell me about it. The dating game? Is that right?
It was a dating game years ago. Now when people say it's so difficult to get into the guild, I think, oh my God, you know. But
it wasn't then.
I was doing the dating game and filling out the forms and all of that as a contestant, and they said, well, you know, we can't pay you because you're not a member of the guild. And I said, what, the guild, what's that? And they said, Screen Actors Guild. And I said, well, how do you become a member? And so they said, just go down there. And I said, well, okay, if I become a member, will you pay me?
That's
And
great.
that was the story.
That's wonderful. David, you've been in show business how many years? How long you been in show business, David?
I guess you would
What was
say
your-
I started in 57.
57. What was your very first?
Well, now this, you see, this was not professional.
It wasn't?
No. It was what they call Little Theater
Well.
in the Bay Area. I played Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet in a place called the Golden Hind Playbox. The Golden Hind, I think, is the name of Sir Walter Drake's boat.
Both,
And my father came up to see me. It was a surprise. I didn't know he was going to be in the audience. And he told me I was okay. And I did a lot of work like that up there. And then I went professional there. I got into a Shakespearean repertory. But using sort of the same kind of scheme, a little different. They, I had to be equity in order to get in.
To get in the union, right.
And to get into the play,
Play.
I had to be actors'
Yeah.
equity, which is the theatrical union.
Yes, right.
And I told them that I was a member, but I had taken the withdrawal card. And then, so they hired me. And
You weren't even a member then.
Then I went to Actors'
you.
Equity, you know, and I said, these people want to hire me, and I have to get a card. And then I went back to the producers and said, it turns out that I didn't take the withdrawal card. I thought I had, and I owe a whole lot of dues. And so I have to have an advance so I can pay these dues, which is actually the initiation fee. And, you know, after the whole thing was over, I really think that both Actors' Equity and the producers knew I was fooling them all the time.
What was David Carradine's very first movie?
Well, it was one day on a picture called Bus Riley's back in town, starring
Anne Margaret.
Anne Margaret, Michael
My
Parks.
God. And Michael Parks, of course.
Actually, it was Michael Parks and Anne Margaret.
That's right, Michael Parks, yes.
Yeah.
And Anne Margaret. That was a good movie, though. Michael didn't like it.
Well, I only did one day on it.
one
William
day.
Inge hated it. He was the author of the screenplay, and he took his name off of it. And the
guess he
movie
hated
did not have a
How
tremendous...
did Kung Fu come along, David? Tell me, what happened? How did you get that role?
Well, somebody sent me a script. Actually, Jerry Thorpe, who was the producer-director of the original Kung Fu movie,
Right.
and the creator, you could say, had seen me in a play in New York called The Royal Hunt of the Sun, where I played the King of the Incas. And I was really great. Excuse me, but I was. And he remembered it, and he wanted that guy to play the part.
Barbara Hershey, you were married to her?
No, not
weren't you?
really.
Really?
No, we lived together for 7 years.
Weren't married?
We never married.
But you had a child from
Yeah.
Who? What was
Tom
it? Tom.
is his name.
But tell me something about Barbara Hershey. I think she's going to be an Academy Award nominee this year. I really think so.
I hope
Do you have
so. I just wonder what took everybody so long
So-
to get around to it.
Good
Isn't that
actress.
the truth? I mean,
Yeah.
we always wonder, I mean, how can they say overnight success when we've been out here
There is no overnight
And,
success,
I mean,
is there?
it's for years.
Once in
you
a
know.
while, sure. But, you know, a football player that somebody
Margaret
says
Avery
you want
didn't
to be
have
a
a
movie
tough
star.
time at the beginning. You were battling around. Margaret, you're a singer. You worked clubs. You did things before.
Well, I started out as a singer because my goal, my real goal was doing stage musical comedy. So my training was for singing on stage.
Of course.
But at the time I was living in San Francisco, and every play that came to San Francisco
Right.
was already cast from New York. So I started, my professional experience became as a singer first, because I started singing with little groups, moonlighting as I was teaching, you might say.
Oh, interesting.
Grading report cards and all that in the John, in the breaks of
So where were you singing? In San Francisco in little clubs?
in the little
Oakland and all that?
suburban areas,
Uh-huh.
you know, all around, and it was great experience. However, I got so far away from acting. I found myself in Vegas, and then I thought, well, gee, what am I going to do? I'm not pursuing acting. And I went to New York and was just, if you grew up in San Diego,
Yes.
you can't go right to New York. I mean,
Why can't you, Margaret?
I mean,
why can't you? That's where
I'll
it's
tell
all-
you what happened to me. I was
I would
determined.
immediately.
I was determined to go to the Conservatory Theater of, I
Right.
think, the American Conservatory Theater of Arts, and I was going to just do the audition there
Right.
and find housing and all of this business. Went to a hotel. A lot of stewardesses stay there. I won't even mention
Yes,
which one it
right.
is. The first night there, I had someone to come into my room and go through my purse. Fortunately, I didn't scream. Okay, the 2 nights before, this happened to a stewardess there. She screamed and was beat to a pulp. Okay, I checked out of there, went to live with some other stewardesses through a friend. And the typical New York apartment, they charge a fortune. It was a fortune to me. I think it was like $700 or $800 a month. One little bedroom.
Right.
Yes, right.
We're on the 9th floor. My second night there, and a little sniper goes right through. I mean, a
see.
bullet.
Really?
We're on the 9th floor of this secured building.
Yes.
I said, Lord, just let me get home, and I will not come back to this city.
Well,
It scared me.
It scared you. So what
now,
happened?
now I think I could handle it. But things always happen for a reason.
You did commercials. You did a commercial.
That's the way I started out.
Commercials? Tell me about the commercial. I love that commercial you did.
I did a lot of commercials. As a matter of fact, that afforded me to no longer teach during the day, because after I moved to Los Angeles, I started substitute teaching, willing to go to any school, any area, any grade, so that I could
Yes.
get called every day.
Yes, yes, yes.
I had no seniority, but I started doing commercials, and you know, when I first signed with my commercial agent, they didn't want to take me because there were no blacks doing commercials, and they felt it was a waste of time.
Is it open now? I mean, for blacks?
Well, it's
Well,
certainly
Is it-
changed.
It's changed a lot.
Sure.
Actresses, there's any good scripts out there for black actresses, Margaret?
You're talking about for commercials?
No, just for movies.
Because for
and
commercials, I notice now that I see
Opening
an awful
up.
lot of young people, like 19, 20. It seems to be much more open.
Open,
And I
yes.
see pretty women. Pretty women.
Yes.
Because when I was doing commercials, you had to look dowdy.
Dowdy.
You had to look the way whoever said
Says.
you should look. I guess they make this decision on Wall Street
Color
or
purple.
something.
I want to get right away.
Okay,
And
what do I?
happened?
How did I
did
do
you
it?
get that? How did you
It
get
was, I feel that it was just God's will. That's all I can say.
You were
Because at that point in my life,
Yes.
I had given up acting. I couldn't buy an acting job. I had gone back to singing, was out of the country singing, came back to do my taxes. I had 3 or 4 rival actresses call me during this time.
Yes.
Well, they would never call me in the past, but
Yes.
to tell me about Color Purple, that I should read the book and I should talk to my agents about it. They had submitted me, my agents told me they don't want to see you, they don't feel you're right. I wrote a letter to the casting director, dear, dear, sweet Reuben Cannon. I must say, give him credit for this, because on the basis of my writing, imploring him to please see me, he did see me. And then he proceeded to tell me how wrong I was for the role. I begged him and said, please, 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 let me read. So I think the poor man wanted to go home. It was a Friday evening late. His secretary kept coming in, giving us a glare. When am I going to get home? He said, here, take these pages. You come back next week. And I did come back the following week, and just the grace of God, he said, Margaret, I still don't believe you're right for the role.
He didn't believe that.
But he says the reading is so good, the work is so good, I think it should be seen. And from his point of view, from what they, probably the producers or Stephen or whoever, had said they had in mind for the role, I wasn't.
I see.
But he took the shot, gave me a shot, and said, let's put it on tape. And after about 3 or 4 days, my agent called, who couldn't get me the interview at that time, and said, Steven Spielberg wants to see you. And
great.
I did another one of these.
Well, you're nominated, believe me.
Yeah.
You love Color Purple. You saw it, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw it on HBO.
You saw it on HBO,
It was really
and
good.
you're really good, huh? Tell me something, darling. Working with your daddy, fun? Tell me.
Very fun.
Like,
It's really fun.
like what? Tell me. Working with, is he a tough director or tough? Tell me about
No, well, I didn't really remember anything from Wanahari, but
it. But the women you just got through doing.
yeah, it was really fun because I knew my dad, and I knew what he was like.
What is David Carradine really like? Would you share it with us? Come on. What is he really like?
What do you mean?
Well, you know, what's the funny thing around the house does David Carradine do? I mean, could you share some little funny things? Go ahead.
What?
For his kung fu audiences out there.
Well,
Do you like those shows of kung fu?
yeah, they were really good.
You really? David, do you miss doing them though? Like,
No.
are you going to be doing any more? Do you think you're going to have a
Of that character?
Yeah, tell me. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I suppose it could happen, but I have turned my back on Little Grasshopper deliberately. Put him away in the past.
You have.
And I've offered the wardrobe to the Smithsonian.
What does
I
David
think it's over.
Carradine really want to do right now? I mean, you're directing, you're producing, you're married, you keep moving, you travel all the time, you're all over the world. This is the first time I can get you for a long time. You've been running around doing a lot. You mean?
You know, I don't even live here anymore.
You don't? Where do you live, David?
I live in
Where do you
Rome.
live, David?
Rome.
Rome.
Rome, Italy, yeah.
Oh, it's a great place. What
Yeah.
does David Carradine really want?
Well, you know, there's short-term goals and long-term goals. Short-term goal would be, you know, get another job, of course.
Keep working. Another one, another.
And I have a lot of projects in the works. Some of my own projects and some other people's projects we're all trying to put together.
Your wife, Gail Jensen, she helps a lot. She really does all your PR. She reads your scripts for you, or do you read them? Does she help you?
About half and half.
Half and half? She's
Yeah.
a busy lady. She really keeps... How many children do you have, David?
I have 3.
3.
And 2 grandchildren.
So you're going to be Christmas with them this year? Spend
As many
Christmas-
as possible.
Really?
Sure.
David Carradine, looking back, would you do it the same way right now? Looking back at your life right now?
I don't know if anybody would really do it the same way.
Well, I would. I wouldn't.
Well, I
mean,
feel that things
changed a little.
happened to me that it wasn't volitional, most of the things I did. I just responded. It's like when I was at San Francisco State, I was a music major.
Really? Yeah, you
And
sing.
I got sidetracked into acting. You get sidetracked into music, right? I had really no intention of being an actor. I didn't know what that was. I mean,
But
what do you
think
do?
you
don't
were
do
really
anything.
sidetracked? I mean, because you were involved with music. Whatever it was at that time, it brought you to the realization.
And
of
I
what you should be.
was drawn to it.
But you're an artist, so I mean that was the thing that was compelling.
I could
She
paint
is going into
paintings, except
country
it's
music
lonely.
now. She's changing her whole format of her act, and I understand you're Tell me.
Country pop. is what I
country
wanna do.
pop. That's a difference. I'm sorry, but that's what you do too, don't you, David? You do country
Do you?
pop,
Sort of.
Sort of, yes.
Country rock. and
rock,
Country pop. And,
pop, and he's
but there's a big blues element in my music. That
Yeah. Do you
makes
write
it
your own music,
harder to
David?
define. I write a lot of it.
and your wife writes too.
Yeah, we write together.
Ah, last time you were
That's
on my
wonderful.
show, yeah, the last time they were on the show, they sang, and Gail and, oh, they were wonderful. They just went, that was a great song you did. How's that record doing, as a matter of fact?
Well, I don't know what song we did.
I don't remember, but it was a great number, and it was very, very, it was on a record.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was either Troublemaker or...
Troublemaker. That's it. Troublemaker,
Yeah.
honey. That's
That's
it.
one of my favorites.
I understand you did a
It's one of her
play.
favorites, Troublemaker.
I understand you did a play today. What's
did a
that all
school
about?
play.
Tell me about that.
Well, it wasn't really a play. It was just a program, a Christmas program that we sang. And we sang, my particular classroom and another classroom sang A Winter Holiday, Holly Jolly Christmas, and Feliz Navidad. And it was really fun, but in the first song, I played an instrument, and I sort of did something too soon. And
Where do you go to school?
I go to school in Valley View Elementary.
Ah, that's, how old are you, sir?
I'm 9.
God, she's big for 9, David.
She's just big enough.
Is she really?
Yeah.
But everyone's big at Carradines. They're all big. They're all tall and
Yeah.
big. Your brother's tall, too, isn't he, Keith?
Yeah, Keith is tall.
Yeah.
Tom, my 15-year-old, he can't wear my shoes anymore. They're too big for him, and he's put
Now,
in
what's
about a
Tom
half
do?
an
What
inch.
does Tom do? 15 now. He goes
to school, yeah.
He's not going to get into the business? Or is he going to be another Carradine?
I don't think he's going to get into the business, no. He's given me no such
You don't
indication.
force your children.
No.
You don't tell them. No, that is you shaking your head too, Mark. You have a child too. You have.
I don't encourage it. It's a very difficult business, and I think anyone who asks me, how do you get into the business,
Right.
I don't really have an answer because there is no pat answer. This is a very peculiar, unique business, and what worked for me may not work for you.
Right.
You can't go to get all kinds of degrees and say now you're qualified for something. The only thing that works, I feel, is a burning desire to want to do whatever it is, produce or act or all of it, because that's what keeps
Yes.
you driving and working towards that.
I see.
And I think it's only through that desire do you attract things to happen.
David Carradine, you lived here a long time. You grew up here. Let's face it.
Yeah,
Now,
well,
Hollywood.
I was born here.
You certainly were. I mean, if anyone really knows Hollywood or the business,
You were
know.
born here?
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
in
David
Hollywood,
Carradine was born here in Hollywood. He grew up here.
Nobody's
and
born in Los Angeles.
Yes.
My father
Father.
is an actor, so
It was,
Yeah,
that's a
you know,
special situation.
you really know Hollywood. It's changed
Yeah.
a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Good, for the worst, what, David? I don't know. I mean,
No, I don't either. I don't know if that's really an important aspect of it.
it isn't.
But the change is, I think, part of Hollywood. If it didn't change, it would just turn into a fossil.
But the system, the Hollywood system has changed. There's no more Hollywood system, no more studios. That people, you have to hire yourself a lawyer, and that's it. It's
Well,
it's
I don't
different
know.
show
It's
business.
all different, certainly. It's much more of a freelance business than it was.
But it's not artistic,
in the
David.
old
It's not
Hollywood.
artistic. It's not
Well,
like it used to be.
I don't
really
know if
artistic. It's a business.
the old
It's the dollar
contract
sign.
system was particularly artistic. I think there's some.
I'm sorry.
The
what
Color
did you
Purple's
say?
a really artistic movie.
They're very
They're-
far in between. Like
Well, they
Color
always
Purple.
were.
There were.
There always were, very far in between.
What's some of
We
your-
will look back on this 20 years from
Yes,
now, and we're
of
sitting
course,
there in
of
our
course.
rocking
Who's some of
chairs
your
and
favorite?
say, those were the golden days.
That's true.
Why don't they make movies like that
Oh,
anymore?
what are some of your favorite films, David Carradine?
Well,
What
it's just,
would you-
I
what?
guess, in a certain sense, everybody's favorite films. The Wizard of Oz.
Was that your favorite too? Did you like that?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Did you really?
Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind the quickest. There's a movie.
Not Casablanca?
No, there's a movie made in
Wizard of
Germany
Oz, isn't that
called
strange?
The Devil's General, starring Kurt Jurgens.
Uh-huh.
It's one of the best movies ever made
Wonderful.
anywhere.
Uh-huh.
I have kind of an oddball list like that. And anything that Spencer Tracy did.
Brilliant. Yes, wonderful. What's some of your favorite ladies in the films
I'll
or
tell you.
theater? Do you have any that you looked up at?
I love the music from Carousel.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I see that film, I always kind of laugh, cry at the end. But your question was, favorite ladies?
Yeah, that maybe encouraged you to get into the business.
I'll tell you,
Might
the
have
first
encouraged.
the first beautiful woman of color that I saw on camera was
Lena Horne?
Dorothy Dandridge.
My favorite. My favorite.
And she was the first woman that as a woman of color, because up until that time, I thought if you wanted to be an actress of color, you had to be fat, you had to be not pretty. And when I saw her, I said, oh.
What did you see her in? What was the first thing you saw?
Island in the Sun with Harry Belafonte.
Belafonte. It's easier now for the blacks to have.
Don't say easier.
It isn't. It isn't easier.
No,
it's much much. I hope it is.
It's a little more open.
A little more open.
More open, but you still haven't. You don't.
Still don't have the right scripts though.
You don't have an attractive black woman on screen.
No.
As a leading lady, we don't have our Meryl Streeps, and we don't have
Margaret Avery. We have. You are very beautiful. We do have.
I need a film to prove that.
But you are. Yeah. Well, you'll get
Absolutely.
But you were nominated.
I was nominated.
First big film. That shows how great of an actress you were.
And I
right,
got
David?
it all stored up, ready to do it again.
You do, really? I love it.
Oh, yeah. Let's go right now.
David, what's stored up for...
Send us scripts. What?
What's stored up, David? As a matter of fact, you're doing a film right now. You're casting a film. You are casting a film. Or can you talk about
it? So to speak, yeah.
It's up to you if you want
We
to
are
talk
trying
about
to put together a film.
Uh-huh.
And it's not far enough along so I could say literally I'm casting it, though I am talking to people about...
You're going to bring a clip of your film you just got finished with.
I tried to steal it from the producer, but
it was called
Open Fire.
Open Fire, which you're in, right? Yes, and you play?
Gina.
Gina. She plays your daughter in it?
Yeah, my daughter.
She gets kidnapped or something?
Right, and then we escaped through all these explosions and everything. It was a little... We almost got ourselves burned up.
Did you really?
Both of us, yeah.
You got your eyebrows sizzled off.
Yeah, I lost my eyebrows.
He got his eyebrows sizzled off.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
did you?
You got him okay now, though.
Yeah.
You're fine. Did you save him, honey?
2 months ago.
Did you?
Well, yeah, sort of, because he would have gone earlier.
How about the union to protect the children?
If she hadn't been frightened, I would have, if I wasn't with her, I would have gone 10 seconds earlier into the scene, and I would have probably, we would have just been crispy critters.
Your film, your new movie.
Yeah.
What?
Blueberry Hill.
Blueberry Hill.
And it's going to be out February.
February.
Okay. And it's one of probably the first independent films that was shot in 12 days.
In 12?
And we're hoping, that it's going to really do something for the industry as far as starting.
Is it another good acting ability thing that shows Margaret Avery? I'm sure it does.
Let's put it this way. I think it's a little jewel for 12 days shooting.
Really?
12 days.
And who's in it, Margaret?
Remarkable.
Who's in it?
Okay, now we have Carey Snodgrass, Jennifer Rubin, myself.
Love this woman, Carey Snodgrass.
Oh, yes,
she's wonderful. Go ahead.
She
And who
is.
else?
And Strath Hamilton is the director. He's from Australia. Don't
That's
do
all
this to
right.
me. Well, it's going to be February.
And David, when is yours coming out?
When is it coming out?
Yeah, your new one.
Oh, I would guess maybe in the summer. See, I have actually 4 unreleased pictures.
4
right now.
unreleased films.
Yeah. And so I don't know exactly when they're going to fall in.
You have 4. Why do you keep so
I've been
busy,
working
David?
too much,
I
yeah.
know, you keep busy. That Jael Jensen just keeps you busy, doesn't she?
Well,
I mean, are you happy? You didn't have a honeymoon,